practice excellence in the way that you can, right?
Yeah.
So when you practice excellence and you improve and educate yourself, all of that translates into being better at what you do and serving people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so good.
Especially in today's world
Mm-hmm.
where, everything's changing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Response Able with Professor Nikki James. I mean, louder is better.
I think so.
Because then we can yell.
And we can yell.
I feel like I have a fake loud voice. Because if I actually screamed right now, I would be super loud. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Response Able podcast. And I cannot believe it is the end of May. And we've been doing this for 5 months now. So if you've been with us through the whole journey, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you've popped in along the way and are now joining us through this journey, I am so grateful for you for listening. And I hope that you are being inspired by these incredible stories and taking some tips away that you can also apply to your own life. So in this episode, I get to introduce you to Liana Christy. Now, Liana is one of my Massachusetts friends. So I have some amazing friends that I live with in Boston, but Liana is a native. She was born and raised in Boston, in Massachusetts. And whenever I want to know about local things, whenever I want to know whether the weather report is right or not, she's the person that I call. And she also a few weeks ago was willing to step in and record an interview last minute to fill a little hole I had that you all heard about. And I'm really grateful for her for that. But I'm also really grateful that we didn't do that because this episode, we actually got to sit down and have a really cool conversation. So Liana and I always have some great conversations, and it was really fun to turn on the microphone this time so you guys could all hear her amazing wisdom and just the way she thinks about life and her career and her work, which I think will be really inspiring to you. So thanks so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy this conversation. Okay, so we have awesome conversations all the time.
So I literally wrote that down in my notes as part of when I was, thinking about this today. I was like, I'm going to mention the fact that every time we get together, we have conversations like this anyway. So
yeah,
that is
but now we've got the microphones on and the recorder on, and hopefully everybody else can hear some of our wild conversations about all the things I've done. So Liana, thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
You're
also,
welcome.
Shout out to you for being willing to do this at the last minute a couple of weeks ago. But I'm also really grateful that didn't happen because I love that we're both rested and we're sitting down and doing this intentionally and then going out for wine afterwards.
Yep, wine and some good food. So
yes, our favorite thing.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, my first question for you really is if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Liana, born and raised in Massachusetts. I grew up in a small town just south of Worcester, went to UMass Amherst where I got a degree in operations management in math. And after that, I started in the dental industry, and I've been in the dental industry since. And yeah, I've been in Boston for maybe 8 years now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm a born and raised, I guess not Bostonian, but Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So close family, 3 brothers. I'm the oldest of 3 brothers. And
that
big, close-knit family.
Be difficult. I have one older brother, and that's enough for me.
Yeah. It's a little different dynamic when you're the oldest. The power changes a little bit there.
Yeah,
but I will say though, I do get along with boys. I think you've always been similar. We've talked about that. So not really any drama. So that's kind of no drama. So I guess that's the plus side of having all boys in the house other than my mom.
Yeah. And they probably don't let you have drama either.
No, they don't. Actually, most of the drama came from them. So growing up. So.
Okay, shots fired, brothers. If you want to come on the podcast and defend yourself, let me know. Okay, that's awesome. So operations management and math.
Yeah.
That's an interesting combination. Did that, like, why those two things?
Yeah,
Was
that's
it
a good
an
question.
emergent thing or?
Yeah, that's a good question. When I started at UMass, I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
So my first thought was that business was the most practical place to start. I'm also a bit of a nerd, so I did consider engineering at first as well. And then I've always had a passion for teaching too.
Mhm.
So I like math, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll be a math teacher.
So
And then
hedging your bets a little bit.
exactly, like, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I guess one good thing too. When I chose UMass as a school, I actually chose it because it was the most affordable school that I got into.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to go to Northeastern, but it was very out of my price range because my parents they were making good money at the time, and they were like, hey, we'll pay for a year, you can pay for 3 years. And they kind of gave me some advice like, hey, if you don't know what you're going to do and it's not very specialized, maybe you should just try out like a state school the first year, and then you could transfer. So I went in with that mindset of, okay, I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to spend a ton of money if I'm not going to be specialized in something. So I'll give this 1 year. So I gave it 1 year, and I absolutely loved it. And as I was getting into my studies more, I realized that math and operations management, there's a lot of crossover there. So there's a lot of similarities with the courses. So it actually worked out well because there was maybe 7, 8 classes that would go towards the math side and the operations side at the same time, especially statistics. Yeah. Okay. So there's like the operations management part. There's a lot of math and statistics and analytical parts of it. So yeah. So that's why I chose those two.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so you graduated with operations management and math and landed in the dental industry.
Yeah.
Did the industry choose you, or did you choose the industry? How did that happen?
That's a good question. You ask good questions. I already feel like we're just talking. The industry kind of chose me. I graduated from college that summer, and I was taking my MTELs because I was like, okay, I think I'm going to go the math teacher route. So I took my MTELs and I passed them. And I was in the process of looking at jobs and, deciding where I wanted to be. And then I had reconnected with a family that I had grown up with in church. And their daughter was running their dental practice. And it's so funny, like we hadn't seen them in like 15 years. And then we just reconnected with them one summer. And she's like, hey, you graduated recently. What, she was asking me some questions, and she, learned I was in business and that I was kind of still figuring out what I wanted to do. And she goes, I kind of want to step away and go create a family. So do you want to manage and kind of learn and run the practice for a little while? So I said yes.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So I stepped into that role, and then within a month she left.
Wow. So, yeah. Okay. So that's not a lot of training.
No. And there's not a lot of training in general for front desk people in dental. It's just a very niche. Yeah. Whatever. However you say it. Role. So you just kind of figure it out. And, and on top of that, the dentist, who I admired, tremendously. And he passed away about a year after I left, tragically. He was just an amazing man. And all he wanted to do was take care of patients. He's like, I don't want to think about the business. So his wife would come in once a week and kind of run reports and just kind of check that everything was on track. But it was a really cool experience because he's like, just run it well. So I got to like learn and just use it as like an opportunity to get an education in running a dental practice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that makes sense based on kind of a lot of the work that you do now, and we'll get to that.
Yes, I'm gonna tie it back too. So we're on the same wavelength there.
We have the same brain, folks. Yes. So this is going to be either really interesting for everybody or really boring because we'll agree with each other all the time.
Agreed.
Okay, so how long did you spend managing the dental practice?
Yes, I was there almost 5 years, and we were so close. So we were such a tight-knit group. But at that point, I was starting to feel restless and like,
Mhm.
okay, I've kind of reached the end of my, income potential, learning potential. Like, this is easy now.
Mhm.
And at the time, we had a rep who would come in who I developed a pretty good relationship with. And he
Mhm.
worked at the company that I'm at now.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
And he
And
would
he
come
said,
in.
"What an opportunity I have for
Yes.
you."
So I was like, wow, like he comes in and he loves what he does. He visits customers all day. He spends times with us. He's always bringing ideas and he's helpful and it's kind of a cool job. Like I kind of want to explore and see what he's doing. So I tracked him down one day and I just said, "Hey, would you be open to getting me an interview with the company?"
Mhm.
And he goes, "Yeah, happy to do that." He goes, "Just make sure like if you see it through that you're clear that like I didn't approach you because I don't want to,
Mhm.
lose a customer. I don't want them to be
Right.
mad at my company." So it was done in a really nice way. So he got me an interview, and just so like everyone knows, he would come in and he sells us. So Patterson is the company I'm with, and we basically sell dentists everything they need, from cotton rolls to X-rays.
Right.
So if
Everything they need except for themselves.
exactly. So if a dentist graduates from school and they want to start a practice, we do the build out,
Mhm.
we do the merchandise, we do the software, do the equipment, the technology, everything from start to finish. We do OSHA services, practice management services, excuse me. We help them find, associate placement when they want to
Mhm.
retire. So they could we're a full distribution company. We don't actually make anything. That's the company I'm at now. So we distribute products from manufacturers, and we literally we're the lifeline for dentists to run their practice. So that's just kind of a quick introduction to the company I'm at now, and what this guy was doing for us and why it was so appealing and attractive to me at the time
Mhm.
was the relationship part of it.
Right. So you kind of are bringing almost now I want to hear about how the interview process was and what you learned and all of
Yeah.
that, but it sounds like you've almost tied in the interest in being a teacher a little bit because you get to
Oh,
teach the
I
dentists and
didn't even
help the
think about
dentists
that.
with the business side of things.
I wouldn't have even brought that full circle, but it's
Oh, there
so
we go.
true,
You
Nikki.
are. That's what you spend a lot of your time doing is helping them
Yes.
and teaching them on how to build their business, which is really cool.
You obviously listen to me talk. And just so you know, I did actually tie this. I didn't think about the teaching part of it, but I did bring it full circle when I'm thinking about like my focus when I started and how I
Mhm.
was able to kind of carve out a way to actually bring value because I had no idea what I was doing. So just
Like,
imposter
I
syndrome,
gotta
right?
work this out.
Yeah. So he got me an interview, and
Mhm.
I never would have been looked at if it wasn't for him. Like, this position is not entry-level sales.
Right.
Like, most entry-level sales jobs are like, you're either in a call center and you're doing
Mhm.
inside sales and you're grinding, right? You're just making calls all day and it's brutal. Or if you're in outside sales, you're selling office supplies.
Right.
Like, usually your first sales job is like a very simple
Right.
sale,
Right.
where what I do and it's not simple at all. It's like it's actually very complex. So he got me the interview, and the guy that I interviewed with, he was the general manager at the time. So he
Mhm.
oversaw our local branch, and he ran things, and he was top rep in the company for like 25 years. Like, he was legendary, and he left about a year after I started, but I still keep in touch with him to this day, and he was actually instrumental in like my
Mhm.
success. He was one of my mentors.
Okay.
So even after he left, I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, I need your help. Like, you
I
you
still
hired me.
don't know what I'm doing.
I have no idea what I'm doing. You left me. Help me. I'll pay you." And he's like, "No, you don't have to pay me." And we have a great relationship to this day.
But
Um,
I do love, like, I didn't know that, but I do love that you offered because you understood the value of what he could bring to help you, right? That
yes.
you were like willing to
Oh,
like compensate him for his time and
yes.
didn't just assume. Like, I think mentoring and coaching is really essential, right? But it's
Yeah.
not. It is very, very, very valuable, and I really appreciate that you actually saw
Yeah.
the value in that to the point. I mean, it's great that he offered not to, but that you led with, "I'm happy to pay you." I believe in that a lot too.
I appreciate that. I think it was out of out of sheer desperation.
I need him to say yes.
I'm like, I need you. Also, too, like you had asked about the interview process. It's funny. So it was 4 interviews over 3 months, the process.
Oh, wow.
So it was
Okay.
pretty rigorous.
Mm-hmm.
But when I sat down with this guy, I just knew, I had just a certain sense that, okay, I don't really belong here. I'm not qualified. And I know that this is going to take a lot of time to go through the process. But I just knew I was meant to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really explain it, but I sat down and I started talking to him, and we instantly clicked. Number one, we saw the world the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew, all right, I already got the job. Like I had that
Even though
feeling.
I know I have no idea what I'm
Yes.
doing and
Yes.
I'm underqualified, I just feel like this is right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so good.
And it's funny. So one thing I didn't mention at first. So I grew up in a Christian household.
Mm-hmm.
And going through this process and just looking back over like the last 15, 20 years, starting in high school, how college worked out, how working for the Cologis worked out. That's the dental office I worked for. I'm sure they wouldn't mind me mentioning them. And then, ending up where I am now and just how all these opportunities worked out. I just always had a sense when something came to me that it was right.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like God's hand has always kind of been on my life too, with like just really amazing opportunities that have come, things that just kind of worked out. And this was one of those things where I just knew as soon as I sat down with this guy that I belong here, I'm going to work here.
Okay. Even if it's not tomorrow, even if it takes a while.
Yes.
Even if it takes 4 interviews in 3 months.
Yes.
I'm meant to be here. Oh, that's so cool. And so you started the job.
Yeah.
Completely probably outside your comfort zone. You mentioned imposter syndrome.
Yes.
What were those early days like? Like, can you share, were there any like really, really big fails that you had to recover from or anything like that come to mind?
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to circle back to that though.
Okay.
Remind me
Uh-huh.
in
We'll
about 2
hold you
points.
accountable to the fail.
Yeah, because I'm going to tie it back to this exact question. Starting at Patterson, right around that same time, there were a lot of challenging things happening in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I had gone through a bad breakup. My parents were going through a pretty unpleasant divorce. I'm the oldest of 3 brothers, like I mentioned. I kind of got pulled into it a little bit more than I should have, right? And, they were selling my childhood house. Everyone was kind of scattering. My grandfather was going through some legal repercussions for a financial situation he got himself into.
We'll leave that onerous. Everyone can Google if they want to know.
Exactly. So there was just a lot happening right around the same time. And that was kind of another reason I wanted to leave where I was. I was like, I need a focus. So my job became this amazing place, like an outlet for me to, number one, just kind of a good distraction. So I threw myself into it. And I went from sitting in an 8 to 5 job, to having unlimited freedom and complete control of my schedule. So it was like this new exciting life. I wasn't going to an office. We don't go to an office. I was either on the road or working from home. I was traveling. I was going to California, Florida, Vegas, staying in hotels, bringing customers out to these steak dinners, stopping in coffee shops and working. And it was like this exciting life that was such a good distraction from what was happening personally. And on top of that, it was just this really cool opportunity to just grow personally. You're essentially, with the type of salesman, you're running a business within a business. So you make it exactly what you want. Right. And this is where we talked about this a few minutes ago. I really focused on my experience running a dental practice, because most dentists, when they get out of school, have very little business background or business education. It's not a focus in dental schools. So this is where the teaching part comes in, right? So I had no idea what I was doing other than the fact that I knew how to run a successful practice. So that's what I built the foundation of my sales approach on, was understanding what it takes to run a successful practice. I really learned and solidified like all the benchmarks that like a consultant would teach when they go in. how to look at reports, how to point out certain opportunities. And on top of that, I was cold calling. So we call it cold calling. And basically what that means is you're walking into offices that don't do any business with you. So when you start out as a rep, you get a scratch territory, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
So you get house accounts, and these house accounts are the customers that no one wants.
Oh. Oh, wow. So they really throw you in the deep end.
Yeah. So you're calling on people that are retired, right? So you're showing up at offices and they're not there. So you have to learn how to do some research in advance to make sure, okay, is this an actual customer still? Or are they retired or closed or, and you're walking in and there's a reason no one's calling on these customers, right? So you learn pretty quickly to, number one, take rejection, and number two, to be able to start a conversation with anyone.
This sounds a bit like hazing to me.
Yeah, it was brutal. But what I did have going for me when I was doing this was my front desk experience, because most reps, when they walk into a dental office, their goal is to get to the back, right? So they want to get to the doctor and they want to get to the assistant who does the ordering. So they kind of treat the front desk like, they call them gatekeepers, which is a terrible terminology. Yeah. Calling someone a gatekeeper, they're going to feel that, right?
Yes.
So I'd walk in and I'd be like, oh, I used to work at the front desk. How are you doing this? What are you doing here? I know you're busy today, so like it was a really, it worked to my advantage having been in that position, because I treated them like humans and I'd remember conversations.
Always goes well. When you treat humans like humans, it usually goes well for you.
It does.
And then a hot take.
Just treat people, do the right thing, treat people right. And what they ended up doing was they're like, hey, do you want to go talk to the doctor? Oh, sure. I didn't even think about that.
Sure, this is great.
So-and-so does the ordering. Let me put in a good word for you. Do you want to go there? They have a couple minutes. Do you want to go talk to him, right? So they started to help me out.
That's so good.
Yeah, so after about a year of calling on cold customers, there was a new district manager who kind of came in and worked under the guy who hired me. Mm-hmm. And his role was to work with like new reps and, kind of be a mentor as well, because my manager at the time had a lot going on running a branch of that size. So I got close to him. And about a year in, my manager left, the guy who hired me, who was my mentor. Mm-hmm. So he just suddenly left. And a week later, the company went through this change corporately, and about 20% of the reps were let go from the company.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a little bit of a scary time because we knew people were being let go. So we're like, all right, we're newer, the newer reps. We didn't know what was going to happen to us. But what ended up happening is the timing of the guy who hired me leaving and this guy stepping in to fill his position while they found like a new general manager worked out tremendously in my favor. So what ended up happening was the established accounts from these reps that got let go, they had to go to someone. So they started to allocate them to reps they trusted. If my general manager was still there, because of how new I was, I wouldn't have gotten any accounts.
Okay.
Because he knew enough to be like, a rookie rep a year in should not get this book of business because they have no idea what they're doing.
Okay.
But he was gone a week before this all happened.
Oh, so ding, ding, ding.
So this is another like opportunity that just kind of worked out perfectly in my favor and just changed the course of my career. So this guy that was my district manager, he was like, oh, you're proving yourself. He had no idea what he was handing me. He goes, hey, there's this territory that's opened up in New Hampshire. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, I'll do anything right now. I've been calling on cold customers for a year. So I'll do anything. Like I'll drive, I'll stay overnight. Just give it to me. So he gives it to me, and the magnitude of that decision didn't hit me until a couple weeks later when I realized how much business. So I'm commission based.
Right.
So at that point, your first year, couple years, you're like base, and then you're commissioned. But ultimately, after 2-3 years, you get off base and you're 100% commission. Mm-hmm. So this book of business that he handed me, again, kind of ignorantly, like tripled my income overnight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and what happened was the rep who got let go, he went to a competitor, and he had been their rep for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So he had the relationships, right? And he was a fix-it guy. So he was a previous technician. You were asking me about some mistakes that have gone wrong. So this is where I'm kind of tying that back. So he was their rep for 15 years. He knew how to fix dental equipment, which is like a big bonus because you're saving doctors money and frustration and time. If you walk in the door and they're like, hey, my chair's down, can you take a look at it? And he can get them up and running.
Right.
So like that part, he had a huge advantage. So I don't have any technical service background, right? So for me,
But an interest in engineering, I'm probably sure you could work it out.
I like that. I didn't even think about that parallel. So what I did was I learned how to troubleshoot equipment and how to just be resourceful and how to problem solve.
Mm-hmm.
While also focusing on my background as an office manager in the business side, right? So like not forgetting and not losing myself. But I did get myself into some situations where I got a little too involved. And there was this one doctor where they asked me to look at their handpiece repair machine. And it's like this like compressed air that blows like cleaning solution and lubricant into handpieces, right? So it's like really high pressure coming out the back. So I filled around with it. And the airline came undone, and it was spinning and hitting and spinning and hitting.
You're like, I should have said no. This is not going according to plan.
Yeah, not good. So I was mortified. Luckily it was like a customer that wasn't challenging. They were kind of laughing about it because nothing got damaged, thankfully, other than like the tube.
Thing that was already broken.
Yeah. We had to shut the compressor off, and oh my gosh, I was mortified. So I learned my lesson there. Only go so far when you're troubleshooting, right? Stay within your comfort zone. So that was one thing that went tremendously wrong. Oh, I also walked into someone's kitchen one time when I was cold calling. They had their dental office attached to their house.
Oh.
And I walked into the wrong entrance. And the doctor looked at me. He's like, hello? And he wasn't very friendly, so I did not go back there. I was mortified, and he wasn't friendly.
One day you are going to run into him at a dental conference, and he's going to be like, oh, you came up for breakfast.
Yeah.
You probably weren't the first one, honestly. If it was attached to the house, surely you're not the only one that made that mistake.
Like, how? This looks like the main entrance.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Well, I'm glad that you can talk about it and have a laugh about it now, but I'm sure at the time it was pretty crazy. So was that rep at the competitor in the same district? So you were almost like fighting to keep the clients.
You literally read my mind. So that week where I got these accounts, I went and spent like 5 days in a row in New Hampshire because I knew he went to a competitor. And I knew, 15 years experience, everything I just told you. I knew his goal was to take all that business back. And I'm like, I'm a year in. They gave me this book of business. If I don't keep this business, this is like make or break.
Right.
Because it was like a couple $1 million territory they gave me. So I went head to head with him. And luckily, I forgot about this. So the guy who hired me, my mentor, those were his old customers.
Oh.
So I reached out to him. He would, mind you, I was a little bit self-absorbed here because the guy literally just left. Right. So in hindsight, I was a little self-absorbed because I reached out to him like, hey, I got your old customers. Can you give me some insights? And the poor guy, I mean, he just left a career of 30 years.
Well, you would think that, but my dad retired 3 times before he actually retired. So he was probably grateful to keep his head in the game.
That's actually a good perspective. Maybe he was. Maybe he's like,
maybe not. Maybe you were really annoying, but there is a possibility that wasn't the case.
The poor guy, I was calling him every day. I was running the names by him. Like, give me insight. What do these guys need? What do they want? So we'll go with your story there.
Yeah, we'll go with he was very grateful to have a wind down to retirement.
So I was going head to head with this guy for a couple months. And it was scary because number one, I spent a lot of time up there. It was a really fun time because it was like, oh, go and spend, 4 or 5 nights in this like beautiful part of New Hampshire. So up like
Mhm.
near like Dartmouth College, there's hospitals up there. It was amazing. I would just drive around and just be in like awe. I'm like, wow, God, like this is my life right now. Like
Yeah,
this
you're
is
like,
so
am I
cool.
dreaming? Like,
Like this is
pinch
my life.
me, wake
Yeah.
me up.
I want to hold on to this. Please don't let me lose it. I was like, this is so good. So
Yeah.
luckily I developed some pretty strong relationships in those 3 months. They're still some of my best customers. And in hindsight, I had no idea what I was doing.
But I feel like I've had times in my life as well where I've had no idea what I was doing. And honestly, there have been the times in my life where I've just gone in and asked questions and asked what people needed.
Yeah,
And I probably wasn't meant to know what I was doing. I just was meant to listen and learn and do what, like,
that's a great perspective.
respond to. Like, I think my very first social enterprise, I teach social innovation and entrepreneurship, but my very first social enterprise that I helped set up was it was an accident.
I
Like,
love that. It's so true.
I was in China. My friend had asked me to go to China to help set up the not-for-profit arm of his business. And I went there and I was like, well, I don't know what people need. I've never done development work before. So and I couldn't speak the language. I couldn't
Wow.
speak Mandarin. So I would have to take some of our local staff with me. And it was really cool because they were going back into their school or into their community, saying, hey, I work for this business now and we want to help. How can we help?
Yeah.
And all we did was, how can we help you? Right. But it was really cool. They were able to be the one that went back into their village and offer help because
amazing.
it wasn't me, because I couldn't communicate. I was just standing there being a part of it
Wow.
and coaching them.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, why are we setting up a separate entity? Why don't we just build this into the business and have the students, instead of having the students pay for their fee to be a part of our program and then using a percentage of that to give back to the community, why don't we just build in service into the programs? And so we kind of like accidentally started a social enterprise.
That's amazing. It's such a good perspective. True.
If you don't, often I feel like sometimes we're really fearful that we don't know what we're doing, but if we go in and trust ourselves and just ask questions, people will show you what they need.
No, that's so true. And that's exactly what happened. And you're almost humbled too.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, I have no idea. I'm just going to learn and just understand. And
I'm
it's
just
so
a
true.
conduit right now
That's
in this,
so good.
moment.
That's a cool story.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about that a while ago.
It was
Is that when you rock climbed? Or that's when you rock climbed.
The rock climb. It was the outdoor education company in China. Shout out JK.
Love it.
And Alexander, can't miss you out. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, okay. Oh my gosh. So now it's how many years later?
Yeah. So it's about 10 years late. 10 years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I have watched you get more and more opportunities and support more and more like dentists with growing their businesses. Are there any kind of really cool stories that you have about like dental practices that kind of you started up with and they've grown? Or
yeah, you hear all about my newsletters and my successes and my stresses, right? So you definitely have been along for the journey. One of my best customers is actually my first customer, and he was actually one of the most challenging customers I had 10 years ago. And he was working out of this small practice. And, since then he's grown to like this mega practice with multiple associates and, multiple hygienists, and he's just killing it. And, the loyalty there, it's cool to see. The ones that you are given are great, right? Because they boost your commission, you keep them, and they're just like ready to go. But the most satisfying ones are the ones that you did bring on yourself. So that was one of them. Another one's like a hospital that I started working with, my first couple months actually. And when I looked back, I was like, wow, every year they just grew so much. Like they're one of my biggest customers now too. And they're actually leading to more opportunity because they're tied to other hospitals in Boston at the moment. So we're working on that deal. The trick sometimes is knowing like when to hold on to a customer and when to not put time into it. When I say customer, what I mean is like someone that's not doing business yet. So that's what I mean when I say that. So knowing like when to hold on to an account, I should say.
Okay.
And when to continue to invest time in them
Even though they're not like being
Purchasing.
they're not purchasing yet.
Yes, because it's a fine line. So some of my best customers, I was calling on without making any money or sales on them for like 2-3 years.
Mhm.
So sometimes it's like a long game, and you're just like, all right, how do I stay in front of them? How do I stay relevant? You know, add them to an email list, pop in every couple months, only come in when you have something useful, right? So like, how do I stay front of mind where if they're going to change companies, they go with me? Because there's a lot of really strong relationships in the industry, which I like. So there's some, dental offices that have had the same rep for 20 years and they won't even talk to anyone else, right? And then something changes and the guy retires or something happens and they shift that loyalty to someone else. So some of my best customers to this day are the ones that I just waited out. And I was like, hey guys, I know you're loyal to this guy. I respect that tremendously. Like, I'm going to let you know, like, I'm going to show up every couple months and I'm going to bring you stuff. And the whole goal of that is to build a relationship with you. And if we end up working together someday, great. If we don't, I know that's a possibility, but that's why you're going to see my face. And a lot of people are pretty receptive to that. They're like, no, we respect that. I'm like, I'm not going to come in and harass you every couple weeks, but you will see my face, once a month, every other month.
I'm gonna come and visit.
Yeah, I'm gonna come visit. I'm gonna be your friend.
Maybe one day your rep retires or whatever, and you might need someone else. And I want you to know me.
Yep, that's exactly.
That's so good. I love the long game. I don't think we're
so true.
As wired to do that now.
Yeah,
because we have this immediate lifestyle where we can get everything we want right now. And I think playing the long game, obviously not with everything, but with some things, is genuinely really, really, really useful. Okay, so what are some of your pearls of wisdom, tips, advice, things that you've learned from your journey in your career and how it's transitioned and kind of weaved that you could share with others that are kind of just starting out? So thinking back to your first job and that first recruitment process. Like, how did that play out? What advice do you have? Or do you have people what about people that are getting into the sales industry? What would you recommend for them? Anything in there that you want to share?
I like that. No, that's good. I guess my general advice is to trust your feelings. Like, I know we have to back it up with reality and, research and making sure we're, doing everything that we can on our end. But when opportunities come along, sometimes you just have to trust. Does it feel right? So that's number one, right? Just trust your gut, trust that intuition. Yeah. So no, this is meant for me. Yeah. Right. And I'm sure there's a whole spectrum of people with different beliefs about that, but I believe it pays off.
There's actually research on
is there
now.
Oh, how so? Tell me.
Yeah. Well, I am not an expert in this field, but one of our amazing professors, Laura Huang, has a book about called "You Already Know," I believe, and it's all about trusting your instinct, because your instinct is a science, not an art.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up. And then, the second you were asking about sales, and I would say find a company or a product that you actually believe is doing good, that you want to sell it, because it's hard to sell something if you don't think it's making a difference or if you think it's hurting. So one of the reasons I think that I've been successful is, number one, I'm passionate about the industry just because of my background working in a dental office. And everything that I sell is either something that the office needs to function and to run. That's the supply side. That's kind of like the consistent side, right? Dental offices spend 5 to 7% of their revenue in supplies, right? They have to get that from someone.
Right.
And number two, the equipment and technology that I sell, it improves the patient's oral health, their interaction with the office. It makes the office better at what they do. It makes the dentists better clinicians, and it makes them more profitable. So when dentists invent invest in what I sell, what we sell, I feel like it's a win-win for everyone. So that would be my second piece of advice, is to sell or work for a company that you think is doing good, so you can back it,
Yeah, that's so good. And I think that aligns to a lot of the stuff we talk about in class about like cognitive dissonance and ensuring that what you're doing aligns to your values.
Yeah, I love that.
Because we can, I think the research says for about 6 months, you can do something that kind of doesn't really align with your skill set and your values. But after that, that's when burnout kicks in. And often burnout is a result of not doing something that aligns or something that you're passionate about.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So wise advice that is backed by the research.
Yeah.
So I really like it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Is there anything that comes to mind that you wish you would have shared that you haven't shared yet? And if there's no answer, that's okay, because you've already shared some amazing wisdom.
I guess one more kind of piece of input for, I guess, sales or anyone that ties back to what I do is to practice excellence in the way that you can, right?
Yeah.
So when you practice excellence and you improve and educate yourself, all of that translates into being better at what you do and serving people.
Yeah, that's so good.
Especially in today's world where, everything's changing and, there's struggles as a society. So I would say practice excellence. And if you practice excellence, people see you differently.
Yeah.
And you see yourself differently. One of the hurdles I had to get over being, I guess, imposter syndrome, kind of. So because I was in a role where I didn't feel qualified, right, when I was given all these big accounts, it was not like fake it till you make it.
I kind of feel like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I feel like what I'm hearing is it's not fake it till you make it, but it's bring excellence as best you can, but not perfection.
Actually, yeah, you just nailed it. You just helped me connect that. When you know that you're doing everything you can to be at the top of your game and to be as educated and to research what's happening in the industry, to research what's happening in other industries, to understand customers, to understand their struggles. When you put that level of preparedness into behind the scenes, it gives you a confidence and it helps you overcome kind of that imposter syndrome and feeling like, okay, I'm not qualified. But if I can be the most, excellent version of myself, then I kind of belong here, I guess. So yeah, thank you for bringing that full circle. That's what I was thinking.
And I think that's so important. Like, we're not ever going to be perfect because information is coming at us hard and fast. We can't know everything, but we do have some skills, right? We can bring the best that we have. We can bring an honest version of ourselves. We can be comfortable admitting, this is what I know and this is what I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe not try and fix the equipment, but find another way, right? Find another way.
It's so true.
What are you good at? What are you gifted at? And being the best version of you. It's a cheesy line, but that be yourself because everybody else is taken.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so true, because you just reminded me, because when I was a new rep and I was observing and learning, I was like, this is how I should be doing things. And this is, you read and you educate and you read all these books and all these sales books and all these podcasts and they tell you like, this is how things are supposed to do. And then you just come to this realization of, I just got to be myself.
Right.
I got to be authentic. I have to focus on my way, right? My skills. What do I have to bring? I remember sitting down at a certain point and like writing out my strengths and then potential weaknesses.
Yeah.
And being like, these are my strengths. So how do I actually go with these things?
Right.
So it's so true. That's a great point.
And we're going to close with this. One of her strengths is she's a master at math and stats and Excel, and has been amazing blessing beyond what your average sales rep probably is. So thank you for all of the dentists that you help, who then turn around and keep us all healthy.
Thank you.
And for sharing your story with us.
You're welcome. This was this was fun. And you asked good questions. So it made it very easy.
Awesome. All right. That's it for today. Thank you so much, Liana. I hope everybody learned from Liana's wisdom, and let's try and be excellent in all we do.
Love it.
Well, that's it. Thank you so much for listening. Liana, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I can honestly say, I don't think I know anybody that knows sales and relationships like Liana. So if that is a field that you are interested in getting into, I highly recommend that you follow her on LinkedIn or Instagram and hear her amazing tips and advice and wisdom. So thank you so much, Liana, and we will see you all next week.